Go figure, one of the biggest NHL trades, I'll go as far as saying of all time, or at least the biggest in recent memory, happened last night, late at night when I wasn't home and wouldn't be home till the next day. So I apologize for being late on this, but better late than never. I figured some of you guys would still probably want to hear my opinions on this deal since it is such a massive trade. I had time to sleep on this deal, really collect my thoughts, and I'll be honest, I still don't even know how to really dissect this or break this trade down. It's just so crazy and really just came out of left field. So the full details of the trade: Matthew Tkachuk is the sole piece heading to the Florida Panthers in exchange for Jonathan Huberdeau, Mackenzie Weegar, prospect Cole Schwindt, who was a third-round pick in 2019, and a lottery-protected 2025 first-round pick. In a recent video, I said that I expected the Tkachuk trade to look a lot like the trade that sent Jack Eichel to Vegas, or maybe even bigger. Safe to say it was much bigger. Like, when was the last time two players who had just put up 100 points in a single season were traded for each other? I'm not sure if that has ever happened in NHL history. If you guys know, you can let me know down below in the comments. But yeah, I don't even really know where to start when it comes to breaking down this deal. I guess we'll first just talk about the return the Calgary Flames got for Matthew Tkachuk. From what I've seen on Twitter, I follow a lot of Flames fans. I have a lot of friends that are Flames fans. Since this trade took place, it seems like a lot of Calgary Flames fans are very happy, and I think they have a right to be. Obviously, you just lost your MVP candidate, your 100 plus point player in Johnny Gaudreau to free agency, and then you had the whole Matthew Tkachuk situation where he's demanding a trade, not really demanding a trade, but basically saying he's not going to re-sign or sign long-term. But in the end, Calgary ends up getting a MVP candidate back on their team in Jonathan Huberdeau here in this Matthew Tkachuk trade. Jonathan Huberdeau is one of the league's absolute elite wingers, unbelievable playmaker, makes his line mates better. He's a guy who's most likely always going to be, in the top 10-ish in scoring in the league. So not only do you get Jonathan Huberdeau, one of the league's best wingers, you also get Mackenzie Weegar, who is one of the most underrated defensemen in the entire league. I would definitely say easily he's a top 20 defender in the NHL. Realistically, I feel like if the return for Matthew Tkachuk was just Huberdeau and Weegar, Calgary Flames fans would still be happy. But on top of that, you get Cole Schwindt, who was a third-round pick in 2019, like I said, just had a 40-point season in the AHL. Very solid prospect to add to the system, and then also you get the lottery-protected first-round pick. Just an absolutely massive return. Like I said, I really feel like this is one of the biggest trades, not just in recent memory, but in NHL history. Now, something that does have to be mentioned when talking about Mackenzie Weegar and Huberdeau in this trade, both of those players are heading into the final year of their deals and are set to become UFAs at the end of this upcoming season. Haven't heard anything yet when it comes to contract extension for either of those players. They didn't come with an extension in this trade like Matthew Tkachuk did in Florida, but even with that in mind, it still gives Calgary so many options. Like, if you can get Mackenzie Weegar and Jonathan Huberdeau signed long-term to extensions, then you're still a playoff team. You're still probably one of the better teams in the Western Conference. That is, in my opinion at least. But say if I'm wrong and Calgary sucks this upcoming season and they don't think that they can re-sign Huberdeau and Weegar, well then you can look at trading both of those guys at the trade deadline and most likely get absolutely enormous returns for each of them. So really, no matter which way you look at this from the Calgary Flames side, I think this is a fantastic trade. Worst case scenario obviously is if, Weegar and Huberdeau both play out the season as members of the Calgary Flames and then both leave as UFAs, but I can't imagine Calgary's going to let that happen. If you get the sense that that could happen, like I said, you absolutely have to move both of them at the trade deadline. So those are my thoughts on the deal from the Calgary Flames point of view. I know it was kind of all over the place, but now let's talk about Florida getting Matthew Tkachuk in this trade. Like I said, he was the sole piece going to the Panthers here. Immediately after this trade was announced, it came out that Matthew Tkachuk signed an 8-year extension with the Florida Panthers, carrying an AAV of $9.5 million. So are the Florida Panthers now a better team after making this trade than they were before making this deal when Huberdeau and Weegar were still on the team? I'm going to say easily no. You can say that Huberdeau and Tkachuk kind of cancel each other out. I think Tkachuk is slightly the better player when you consider overall game, but then you also have to consider they lost Mackenzie Weegar in this deal, who, like I said, I feel like he's easily a top 20 defenseman in the league. Part of me really feels like Bill Zito and the Panthers probably thought that there was a chance they could lose both Huberdeau and Weegar for nothing as UFAs, and they couldn't get extensions done there, and that's why he made them expendable in this Tkachuk deal. It would definitely make this whole deal make a lot more sense if something like that came out, like Huberdeau planned on testing free agency, or same with Weegar or something like that, but we haven't really got any news regarding that at all. Now, like I said, I do think that Matthew Tkachuk is the better overall complete player than Jonathan Huberdeau. I don't think he's as much as a game-breaking offensive talent, but like I said, when you consider overall game, how Matthew Tkachuk forechecks, his physical edge, stuff like that, his two-way ability, He's kind of a unicorn. He does literally everything, and he's probably going to thrive on the Florida Panthers on a line with a guy like Alexander Barkov. That cycle down low, you're just not going to be able to get the puck off those guys. Tkachuk is also much younger than Jonathan Huberdeau, and like I said, he came with an extension, so he's locked up long term. He's going to be a Florida Panther for the next 8 years, so you no longer have to worry about potentially losing a franchise cornerstone to unrestricted free agency. I do still think the Panthers are going to be a very good team, one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference, but losing Weegar on the back end, that's going to be a really big hole to fill. But that is pretty much going to do it for this video, giving you guys my thoughts on the Matthew Tkachuk trade to the Florida Panthers. Again, like I said, I apologize for this being kind of all over the place, but I feel like this trade itself was kind of all over the place, and it's just a really hard deal to break down. This is one of those trades where you definitely can't label a winner right away, in my opinion. We're going to have to see how this plays out, if Calgary's going to be able to get, Huberdeau and Weegar extended. If they don't, what are the returns going to be for those players if they trade them? So many moving factors. But as always, I'm really curious to hear your guys' opinions on this deal, especially if you're a Calgary Flames fan or a Florida Panthers fan. Sound off down below in the comment section. If you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave it a like. That is the best way to show your support. And most importantly, if this was your first time checking out the channel and you want more NHL content just like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll talk to you all soon.